Life does not give you a warning when it decides to break you in half. It does not knock on your door or ask if you are ready. It simply strikes, and most people crumble. They collapse, cry, run away, and beg for comfort. But not you. Not if you want to become strong. Not if you want to rise without unnecessary questions. Machiavelli did not speak to those who live in comfort. He spoke to those who have been broken, betrayed, and cast aside. Because that is when the real game begins. When life shatters you, it watches to see what you will do next. It wants to know who you really are. Let everything around you collapse. Let money disappear. Let people turn away. Let the future seem uncertain. You will meet yourself in that storm. And if your mind is weak, you will drown in self-pity. But if it is cold, vigilant, and detached, you will evolve. Pain is not an enemy, but a teacher. It separates the fragile from the hardened. And if you allow it, pain will create a mind that no one can bend. This world does not care about your feelings. It only responds to who you become. When you are left in the dark, do not scream. In silence, analyze your thoughts and sort through your emotions. Recognize where your weakness lies, then starve it. Do not reach outward, turn inward. Because once you create a mind that does not crumble under pressure, you will become someone no one can control. You are not here to be loved. You are not here to remain soft. You are here to become dangerous to everything that ever tried to break you. If you feel this shift within yourself, I want you to write it down right now. Pain sharpens my strength. Write that down. Cement it. This is how we begin. First, weak minds seek comfort. Strong minds strive for control. When most people are hurt, they seek solace, distractions, temporary pleasures. They run to friends, to noise, or to addictions, to escape what is really happening inside their minds. But here is the truth. Comfort kills growth, and that is exactly what the world wants. A mind too accustomed to ease will never rise to power. If you want to be invulnerable, you must reprogram how your brain reacts to pain. Machiavelli would tell you that control is the highest form of power, but it does not start with others. It starts with your own reactions. You have been taught to dull yourself by scrolling, consuming, blaming, so that you never confront the real war within. But he who controls his mind controls the world. While others chase pleasure, you train your focus. While they seek comfort, you remain with discomfort. While they panic, you plan. This is not heartlessness. It is mastery over the only thing that truly matters: your own psychology. People will call you cold when you stop reacting emotionally. Let them talk. They say it only because they can no longer manipulate you, and that frightens them. Your indifference may offend them, but you do not need their understanding. You need your mind to obey your will. You will not achieve this by remaining soft. You will achieve it by confronting your darkest thoughts and refusing to blink. This is where most break, but not you, not anymore. If you are ready to train your mind beyond emotions, weaknesses, and the need for comfort, declare it right now. My control is my revenge. Say it. Speak less. Strength is more. Second, break the emotion. Build a boundary. You have never been weak because life has hurt you. You became weak because you allowed emotions to seize your mind. You surrendered your mental strength to the chaos of feelings, and at that moment, you became prey. Realize that pain is inevitable, but interpretation is your choice. In the psychology of power, whoever controls the meaning controls everything. Life may break your body, but if it breaks your mind, you were never ready from the very beginning. And this is the truth that most people run from. You must unlearn to believe that an emotional reaction makes you real. It does not. It makes you predictable. The world studies you. If your reactions are automatic, you already belong to it. They know how to hurt you. They know which words trigger a reaction in you. They know how to provoke your anger, sadness, and need for recognition. And every time you react the same way, you confirm that you have not changed. So what should you do? You must become emotionally disciplined. Unfeeling, disciplined. You feel the heat, but do not move unless it is calculated. You cry, but only behind closed doors. You speak less, but every word cuts like a knife. You do not waste energy arguing with those who have already made their decision. Why? Because your attention is sacred, and no one deserves access to your mind unless they have earned that right. Machiavelli wrote that it is safer to be feared than loved. And in psychological warfare, love makes you soft. It ties you to an illusion, but fear makes people cautious. They think carefully about their words. They think twice before acting. They respect you, even if they do not understand. This is the boundary you are building now. It is not just strength. In psychological warfare, control does not need to shout to be felt. So the next time life throws fire at you, do not flinch. Do not break. Look it straight in the eye. You have already been broken. This time, you will get through it. What is the difference between who you were and who you are becoming? If you are ready to replace emotional chaos with mental superiority, declare it right now. I feel nothing. I move with precision. Engrave this phrase in your mind. You are not here to react. You are here to rise. Third, rewrite your story or remain broken. Most people stay broken because they accept the story that life has given them. They wear their suffering like a badge. I hope that someone will understand. But the Machiavellian power is not earned through pity. It is gained through mental warfare. If you want to become invulnerable, then rewrite your story. Right now, destroy every narrative that tells you that you are a victim, that you have been wronged, that life owes you something. Life owes you nothing, but it will give you strength if you prove that you are ruthless enough to take it. Your trauma is not your identity. Your pain is not your personality. Stop calling it your truth. It was a phase, a blow, a trial. Now destroy it. You are not here to tell the world what happened to you. You are here to show the world who you have become because of it. People will try to remind you of your past. Let them. Just make sure that the version they are trying to speak to no longer exists. That is how you control the narrative. By destroying that part of yourself that remained broken, Machiavelli understood that perception is stronger than reality. So when you speak, let your words be arrows. When you walk, carry your armor like a weapon. When you are doubted, do not explain, rise above. And when life strikes again, as it inevitably will, you will not crumble. You will calculate, adapt, and use it, because a trained person becomes a master of strategy. There will be nights when your mind seems like an enemy. You will doubt everything, want to disappear. And in that moment, you will have one choice: to crumble into weakness or to create, to collapse into fragility or to build your mental empire. You do not need more hope. You need more control. The mind does not respect motivation. It respects discipline. Feed it truth and train it to obey under pressure. This is the truth you carve in blood. You are the unbroken version of your past. You are the weapon that this version created. Say it with power. I have killed my former self. I walk as a weapon. Write this down now if this switch has flipped within you. Let the world roll on. You are building something that they will never be able to touch again. Remove attachment by building inner strength. This is the quietest killer of mental strength. At first, you do not see it. It seems warm. It seems like love, loyalty, hope. But beneath the surface, attachment turns your strength into chains. You wait, you chase, you compromise. You lower your standards just to keep people, places, and opportunities that should not have remained. And this is the first crack in your mental armor. Caring too much about things that do not care about you. Machiavelli did not build strength by clinging. He built it by observing, calculating, and distancing himself when the time came. And if you want to teach your mind to withstand life's betrayals, you need to deeply understand this principle. Never tie your peace to anything external. Not to people, not to outcomes, not even to who you think you should be. Because at the moment something controls how you feel, it controls you, and a controlled person is a weak person. If you want to become dangerous, then become emotionally independent, mastering the art of remaining calm when chaos surrounds you. People will wonder why you do not react, do not plead, do not tremble. This is when you realize that transformation is working. Your silence becomes unsettling. Your absence becomes loud. Your detachment becomes your mastery. Because while the world panics, you remain composed. And because you do not feel, you no longer need. Every time you detach, you reclaim your power. Every time you stop explaining yourself, you focus. Every time you do not react, you earn respect. And every time you walk away, you remind the world that you were never meant to be owned. You were meant to be observed from a distance. Understand this. To be unflappable is not coldness, it is control. And in a Machiavellian strategy, control is everything. Now they will try to impose a sense of guilt on you. They will say that you have changed, that you no longer care, that you have become selfish. Let them talk. The truth is that you have finally stopped playing the role of an emotional servant. You have stopped bleeding for those who never noticed your wounds. You have stopped diminishing yourself so that others can appear taller. And now, when you have chosen strength over approval, the same people who used your kindness will try to rewrite the script, but now they will not succeed because you see it clearly, coldly, focused. You confused attachment with loyalty for too long, but loyalty to others means nothing if it comes at the expense of loyalty to yourself. This is a turning point. You do not need closure. You do not need applause. You need clarity and mental distance to take the next step in silence. This is what Machiavelli would call the highest discipline of rulers: to act without being seen, to feel without being enslaved, and to cut without hesitation when necessary. So train your mind to let go of what you cannot hold, to release what drains you, and to silence what distracts you. You are not in this world to please. You are here to take a stand, and that stand begins with emotional detachment. You must build an inner fortress, a key that is inaccessible to anyone. And once you do this, the world will lose its power over you. They can talk, leave, betray, or abandon you, but they will never break what they cannot access. The more you detach, the more they notice. Not because you have disappeared, but because you no longer depend on being seen. Power does not chase. Power recedes, allowing absence to inflict damage. This is your new form of warfare, subtle, cold, and effective. If something inside you has finally cracked, if you are ready to break all emotional chains and move forward with strength and alone, I want you to tell yourself that attachment is weakness. I choose control. Say it. Affirm it. Let the weak scroll on, because you are here to reign from within. Isolation is where kings are forged. They will tell you that being alone is dangerous, that isolation is a sign of failure, that distance means you are broken. But that is a lie told by those who cannot bear silence. Weak minds need noise. They need people around constantly to distract from the war within. But you are different now. You are entering a phase that most will not survive. A phase of chosen isolation, not loneliness, but solitude. And in this solitude, you will create something unshakable: your mind. This is the moment when the world becomes quiet and your thoughts become loud. Every fear, every insecurity, every doubt rises to the surface. This is not an attack. It is a test. This is where Machiavelli flourished. He observed, made plans, honed his mind in solitude while others frolicked in the noise. Because loneliness grants that space free from illusions. You begin to see clearly who you truly are, what broke you, and what needs to be ignited to be reborn. Most people run from this. They fill the silence with music, people constant scrolling through anything to escape their own reflection. But not you. You will sit in this silence and command it. You will hear your mind scream and not flinch. You will hear old beliefs begging to stay, and you will destroy them one by one. This is not healing. This is transformation, and transformation is never pretty. It is brutal, cold, but real. Here you rewrite the code. You stop thinking like a servant and start thinking like a strategist. You detach from emotional noise and connect to tactical clarity, restructuring. You change how you wake up, how you speak, how you enter a room. You no longer chase instant gratification. You pursue discipline. You no longer ask why something happened. You ask how to use it. This shift is your rebirth. It is not gentle, not spiritual, but strategic. In solitude, you will discover how every weakness tries to return. Old habits whisper, past relationships try to resurrect. Your doubts disguise themselves as logic. But here you separate from 99%. You do not respond to the knock. You do not open what broke you. You build in solitude. You learn solitude. You evolve in solitude. And the next time they see you, you will be different. When a person returns from isolation, they are either more broken or more dangerous. The average weak return needing validation. The strong return needing nothing. This is the path you are on. You do this not for attention. You do this to reclaim your edge. The world rewards those who control themselves. They are those who broadcast their journey from healing. Solitude becomes your gym. Loneliness becomes your weapon. And when life challenges you again, you will not run. You will walk through it with a mind forged in solitude, and with eyes that do not blink. This frightens them. That you no longer need anyone to feel whole. That you no longer share your plans. That you no longer seek understanding. Because now you have felt what true strength is. Freedom from the approval of the world. Machiavelli wrote his sharpest strategies in solitude. He understood that influence is built not in crowds, but in the shadows. And you must do the same. Stop trying to fix your mind in public. Stop seeking answers from people who do not understand themselves. Dive inward. Dive into the darkness. Let your silence prepare your next move. And when you return, do not explain. Do not announce. Just act. Those who ignored you, doubted you, played with you, will not know how to react. Because you will return emotionless, without need, without dependency. Just calm, ruthless precision. This is what happens when you embrace isolation. You do not become an improved version of yourself. You become someone they never expected to see. I will ask you a question. Are you ready to disappear from everything that distracts you and appear as what they fear? If the answer is yes, then leave a comment right now. I train in silence. I return with strength. Let them keep talking. You are done explaining. You are just beginning. The sixth. Pain transforms into precision. Think like a strategist. Pain is the greatest test of intelligence that life gives you. Not school, not books, not diplomas, but real pain. The kind that breaks your habits, bends your ego, and reveals your illusions. And in this chaos, the weak ask for comfort. But the future rulers, they freeze. They stop feeling and start calculating. They look at pain as a message, as a puzzle, as a warning shot from the universe saying, adapt now or be erased. If you still react to pain emotionally, it means you have not understood it yet. Pain is data. It shows where you are vulnerable. It reveals what they can use against you. It uncovers whom you relied on, whom you overestimated, and where your defenses were weak. Here you stop seeing pain as an enemy and start using it as a scalpel. You will sit with it. You will ask, why did this hit me so hard? And the answer always comes down to one thing. You allowed your mind to fall asleep. Machiavelli would tell you, never let the world lull you into softness. The world is an unsafe place. It is a board of moves, traps, and consequences. And when you treat life as a battlefield, you begin to act like a strategist. Pain stops being bad. It becomes feedback. Your broken heart, the data, your failure, the coordinates on the map, your betrayal, a list of requirements that need to be addressed. While others crumble under the weight of emotional turmoil, you begin to develop answers, not reactions. Answers. Because an answer is the product of strategy. It is timely, it is chosen, it is cold, it is power. You see, most people play checkers with their pain, jumping too quickly, too loudly, too desperately. But you play chess. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, where can this pain position me in the long term? This is a Machiavellian approach. Cold, clear, focused. Every time life strikes you, do not bleed out. Analyze. What has this revealed? What weakness in your system made this possible? What blind spot allowed them to get close? What habit left your energy scattered? Pain is not just an alarm signal. It is a call to action. But only if you are ruthless enough to look at it without flinching. And this is where your strength multiplies. When you begin to anticipate pain, you stop stepping on the same rakes. You see the pattern before it repeats itself. You read people before they open their mouths. This is not trauma. This is tactical memory. This nervous system says, I have seen this move before. We will not fall for it again. This is the birth of intuition, sharpened by experience and filtered through logic. You no longer float down the river of life. You observe, and based on your observations, you draw conclusions. This is what makes you intimidating. But strategy is not only what you do with others, it is also how you relate to yourself. You wake up with a specific plan. You do not allow random thoughts to dictate your moods. Do not let emotions govern your decisions. You sit down, breathe, and determine what the day requires of you. Should you be calm, cool, assertive, silent, aggressive today? Strategic people never enter situations unarmed. And this weapon is not in your hand, it is in your mind. You begin to filter everything. Conversations, relationships, habits. You stop speaking for approval. You start speaking with intention. You stop coming to be liked. You begin to enter spaces with presence. And every time someone tests you, you do not bark. You observe. You do not argue. You record. You do not react. You change your position. This is a person whom life fears, and one who does not merely endure pain, but uses it to sharpen their edge. You exit differently. You think ahead, smile less often, but when you do, it matters. You do not need to be loud. Your silence becomes a warning. This is the energy that changes the atmosphere without a single word. You have been taught to feel your emotions. No, feel your strategy, study your patterns, reshape your reactions. Emotion is a signal, not a command. It is not here to rule you. She is here to guide you into deeper logic, into presence, into precision. And if you learn to remain calm under fire, they will never see your next move. What they fear the most is not the person who explodes, but the person who calculates in silence. Machiavelli understood what the world has forgotten. Strategy is the only true power. Calmness fades, emotions fluctuate, but strategy endures them all. This is how the weak change the narrative, how the broken rewrite the outcome. And now this is your new identity, not stronger, but sharper, not healed, but calculated, not kind, but impenetrable. From this moment on, stop praying for less pain. Learn to extract value from it. This is how victories are won. You do not rise by being the loudest. You rise by knowing how to move without succumbing to influence. If you are ready to turn pain into power, real, dangerous, strategic power, write this down now. I no longer react. I change position. Write this down. Accept this. Move in silence. Let the weak scream. You work on the next step. The seventh has been sent. Become emotionally impervious. Destroy their control. Let's clarify one thing. The world does not destroy you with weapons. It breaks you with expectations, pressures, and emotional bait. You are taught to be polite when you should be silent, to forgive when you should walk away, to explain when you should vanish. And every time you comply, you lose a part of yourself. This is how control works. Not through force, but through emotions. But you no longer play this game. You are done bleeding for those who sharpen their knives. Here begins your emotional imperviousness, your insensitivity, specifically your immunity. The difference is that insensitivity avoids, while immunity absorbs and remains unchanged. This is the power you are now developing. You do not allow their words to pierce you. Their absence will not shake you. Their opinions will not overcome your standards. You hear it, you see it, but it does not reach your essence. Why? You have fortified the walls within yourself, and now only the truth can penetrate through them. Weak people waste their energy on trivialities. One insult, and they are lost. One unread message, and they lose respect. One obstacle, and they become victims. But Machiavelli would tell you that a ruler must be unshakable, not out of rigidity, but out of focus. You cannot govern your empire if you do not control your emotions. You cannot lead others if anyone can destabilize you with a few careless words. And you certainly cannot protect your mind if you are giving access to it as if it is worthless. You must carefully vet everything that concerns your energy, every interaction, every environment, every person. You must ask yourself, does this strengthen me or does it upset me? And as soon as you feel yourself starting to shrink, doubt, or waver, cut it off emotionally, strategically, quietly. This is not the place. This is preservation. They do not need to know that you are done. They just need to feel the emptiness where your emotional investment used to be. You are not here to seek clarity from those who love to confuse you. You are not here to prove your worth to those who benefit from your doubts. Your self-respect is no longer up for discussion. You know who you are now. And this version of you does not ask twice, does not chase, does not beg. This is the version that leaves so quietly that people begin to doubt whether they ever had access to you at all. That is what makes you intimidating. They can no longer manipulate you. They cannot predict your reaction. You respond with calmness, not chaos. You do not argue, do not curse, do not debate. You disappear emotionally first, then physically. And when they start looking for that version of you that played their games, they will find emptiness. This is power. This is your new weapon, absence filled with presence. You must set such high standards that anyone who brings inconsistency, disrespect, or emotional confusion self-destructs before they reach your core. Not because you attack them, but because your emotional clarity acts as a mirror, showing them who they truly are. And most people cannot withstand their reflection, especially when it is no longer softened by your compassion. Let them call you detached. Let them say you have changed. They are right. You have indeed changed. You have outgrown that version of yourself that needed approval, that explained itself, that tolerated. You have become impervious to everything that drains you, and now they feel it. This is coolness, not hatred. This is peace. This is silence, not distance. This is protection. You no longer strive to be understood. You strive to be unattainable. Machiavelli said that the first way to assess a ruler's intelligence is to look at the people around him. So ask yourself, who has access to your world? Who still holds emotional power over you? Who do you allow inside even after they have shattered your mind dozens of times? This is your test, your mission of cleansing. And when this is done, you will stand lighter, more astute, more dangerous than ever before, because there is nothing more powerful than a person who has learned to protect their inner state, not with aggression, not with revenge, but with distance, discipline, and detachment. You do not shout about your respect. You live in a way that disrespect cannot even penetrate your space. And when life tries to test you again, it will find no previous points of entry. You have sealed the cracks, burned the bridges, and now before you stands a mind that is impervious to everything that once broke it. Therefore, I will ask you, do you still react or control? Do you still bleed out for the same stories? Or do you rewrite them? Do you still give emotional power to the unworthy? Or have you already cut that cord? If you have finished being emotionally available for everything that weakens you, declare it now. My world is closed. No one will enter. Let the world continue to reach for the old you. That door is sealed shut. You have entered a state of psychological control, and once you are here, you will never go back. Weapon number 8. Using your presence as a weapon, commanding without words. Strong men do not speak often. They do not explain themselves. They do not argue in public. They walk in silence, but their presence speaks louder than words ever could. This is not arrogance. It is calibration. They know what battlefield they are on. They know they are being watched. They know that perception shapes reality. And they know that the less you speak, the more control you have. You do not need to raise your voice to be heard. You need to carry an energy that makes people feel your presence without understanding why. This is what Machiavelli meant when he wrote that rulers must appear strong, even if they are not. Because perception in the game of power always outweighs the truth. And now you are training to become unreadable, calm, cold, controlled, with such a composed presence that others feel exposed next to you. Not because you are doing anything, but because they cannot decipher you. Your silence becomes a mirror. People project their guilt, fear, and intent onto you, and you say nothing, allowing them to reveal themselves while you remain a mystery. This is how you win without lifting a finger, remaining someone who does not need words to change the atmosphere. You have seen this already. The room changes when a certain person enters. The energy tightens, conversations shift, people change their posture. This is not magic. It is presence. And it is built in solitude, in discipline, in quiet self-improvement. It is built when you no longer chase approval, when you walk with a confident calmness in who you are and who you are not. But this is where your true dominance begins, not in strength, but in the refusal of excessive expression. Weak men overestimate, talk too much, boast too loudly, over-explain. This is masked insecurity. But you become something rarer, a person who can sit calmly in the storm, who does not flinch under insult, who does not react because he is always 2 steps ahead. You are no longer interested in being loved. You are interested in being felt. That is the difference. Beloved men are available, soft, flexible, while those who are felt are unpredictable, reserved, and respected from a distance. You do not seek attention, you remove it. And as soon as you withdraw, they panic. They feel it because the silence from a person with power resonates louder than a multitude of voices. Machiavelli would tell you that the most terrifying people in history were not always the loudest. They were the most thoughtful. They did not disclose their plans. They executed them. They did not seek validation through noise. They allowed their absence to reshape the room. This is what you are learning now. To replace performance with presence. To substitute explanation with observation. To enter a space as if your energy is currency, because it is. If they do not respect your presence, make them feel your absence. If they interrupt you, be silent. If they challenge you, respond with action, not noise. This is a new form of warfare. Psychological, invisible, lethal. You do not need to dominate through aggression. You dominate by remaining unattainable, by being the one who does not flinch, the one who walks away without needing justification, the one who never asks to be noticed, but is always noticed. But do not confuse this with something simple. Such power is not for the weak. It requires brutal self-discipline. You must kill the need to prove yourself. You must bury the impulse to defend your name every time it is mentioned. You must learn to keep your face still when they lie, provoke, or try to expose you. That is when you win. Never when you respond, but when you give them nothing. No reaction, no access, no emotion. Just a calm, cold face that says, I saw it, I calculated it, and it was not even worth my breath. You become dangerous when you stop reacting, when your silence forces people to confront themselves, when your presence makes them cautious with their words. This is how respect is created, not through demands, but through the psychological contrast between what they expect from you and what they receive. If they expect you to argue and you remain silent, that is power. If they expect you to chase after them and you disappear, that is power. If they expect you to break and you grow stronger, that is true calculated strength. They will not say it, but they will feel it, and they will adapt. This is what fear without cruelty looks like. It is not about inflicting pain on people. It is about behaving as if you do not need them, do not trust them, and do not owe them explanations. This alone frightens people because most cannot survive without attention. Most cannot breathe without approval. But you teach yourself to thrive in silence, and that makes you a threat in any room you enter. From this day forward, let your presence speak for you. Do not explain your worth. Become so focused, so emotionally disciplined, and so inscrutable that they feel it before you even speak. You do not owe the world your words. You owe yourself your power. If you are ready to become that, declare it now. My presence, my strength, my silence, my strike. Number 9. An unbreakable mind. Cold, clear, unattainable. You have felt betrayal, endured silence, sat alone in the dark with thoughts that nearly consumed you alive, and yet you are here, stronger, quieter, colder. Not because life has become easier, but because you have finally understood. The world does not reward softness. It rewards a mind that refuses to die, even when everything else does. This is the moment when you become something else, not a survivor, not a victim,